Hello, Instagram. Welcome, welcome, welcome on this. What day is it today? It's Tuesday. Hey, Ginger. Ginger likes to do this. She'll sit behind the curtain like we can't see her, but we can see her. Hey, girl. What's up? Happy Tuesday. Happy Taco Tuesday. Happy May. May the 4th be with you. Yep, here we are, another month down into 2021 and another week into our Pilates for Dancers live stream that we are working here on Coast Los Angeles. This week, we have been focusing on a different principle each week. The first week, we focused on our center, not just centering our body in our space and using that as a barometer for ourselves, but centering your mind into your body, which then led us into the second week of concentration. And I've wanted to add a 2.5 on the way to our third week. Because I had thought about it over last week and then transitioning into this week. You know, there has to be, Joseph Pilates, don't, strike me down, but I'm going to add a 2.5 into the 6 principles, being curiosity. So I talked about this last week with concentration being something that can get very intense and very almost stuck, in that we need to have a sense of curiosity in our concentration so that it doesn't get too intense or counterintuitive to what you're trying to do. Because at the end of the day, all of this stuff is supposed to be helping your body move easier. We want to move easy as dancers. We don't want to look laborious on stage. We want to move effortlessly. And that's not through being effortless. That's through having a deep sense of, drum roll please, for our third week, control. So having curiosity keeps then your control something that I think it keeps it in perspective. It doesn't allow control to be something that, if anyone has come up with their own come to their own battles with control, you truly don't have any outside of your body. You just have your own internal control. So by remaining curious about it, it keeps it positive, at least in my own experience, and not too serious, because at the end of the day, we are just trying to move our body in organization, and so that we feel good, again, so that things feel easy. So we have centering from first week, we have concentration from the third week, and then we have, oh, hello, Danny Vanini, lovely to see you, and we have 2.5. Okay, let me start that over again. So we're going to start with our first week. We have centering, moving into concentration, stopping at 2.5, which is curiosity, to keep it fun and light, and then moving into what we are about to experience is control. Now, control is, everyone has their own experience with control, not only within themselves, but within the things around us. We want to, at least in this past year, my goodness, I've had to face some of my control challenges. But something lovely that I was revisiting in my notes is that control is not about just being able to turn things on and work that way. It's about how to also turn things off, have the control to turn things off, have the control for the on switch and for the control for the off switch. So as we work through today's practice, of course, using your center, using your concentration and curiosity to check in with yourself, to have that sense of control of, are you helping yourself with this work, or is it too much and do you need to turn off so that it's easy in your body, not so that it's such a struggle. I think we need to also learn the difference between like struggle and challenge. There's the struggle is not the goal, challenge is the goal. I think that's just a perspective change. But I'm going to stop talking because it's time to move. So take a seat at the front edge of your mat. You're going to open your legs hip distance apart. We're going to start with the half roll back, switching up the order a little bit this week. Push back with your hands behind your knees so that you find this kind of hammock hang from your legs. Round your back, feel it stretch between your shoulder blades since it's the first thing we're doing. And then round yourself forward, trying to keep that stretch across your back. Inhale as you lean back. And use your exhale to pull forward. Now try to expand back into your ribs. Breathe into those kidneys, sending air back. We're using this as our warm up. So it's not about having as much control as we normally do. We are trying to use it with maybe a little less control and find a bit more stretch. Pulling back. Now hang back here and pull your abdominals, especially the ones closest to the tops of your thighs, away. Pull forward on your legs to give yourself an oppositional point. Now walk down the backs of your legs, maybe to the tips of your shoulder blades, maybe not, and walk yourself back towards the backs of your knees. Keep pulling your legs and abdominals apart. The further you lower your spine down, and pull them apart as you come forward. Remember your tools from pulling into the center, hugging your legs in towards the midline of your body, even though there's nothing there for them to hold. 2 more times like this, pulling back. Can you still find a stretch quality through your back muscles? I don't know about you, but my back's always feeling like it needs a massage. I'm pulling forward 1 more time. Pulling yourself back, you're going to walk all the way to the tips of your shoulder blades, holding yourself there, reach your arms forward. Now begin to pump your arms really, really, really hard. I'm going to try not to talk too much through this because it's going to sound crazy, because I want you to really, really, really pump. Imagine you were running away from a tiger, and the only way that you could run away is by flapping your arms as fast as you can. Hold your fingertips tight together. Now inhale for 5 counts. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Control the amount of energy that you're exerting in this very small movement. Make it enough to break a sweat by the end of our last 10th, 5th breath. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, out. 2, 3, 4, 5. In and out. 2. Even faster with your arms. Keep the whole rest of your body trying to hug that center so it stays stable. 3 more breaths. 2, 3, 4, 5, out. 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 and out. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 more time. And out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Reach your arms up to the ceiling, all the way back by your ears, and stretch your legs out long. Open this line into a big line. Stretch. Control how much effort you're putting into a stretch. And now draw your arms forward. Curl your head off the mat. Roll yourself all the way up towards your toes. And stretch in a round spine over your legs. Roll yourself back 1 bone at a time. All the way down to the floor. Now, turn the inside of your legs, your inner thighs, down to the floor so you find that center line. Hugging down all the way between the arches of your feet, squeezing that your legs together. Lift your hands back to the ceiling. Roll yourself up. Pull into that center line so you can have control, feeling each bone off of the floor. I was thinking that you use your center as a tool to keep your concentration curious. So it's not so stressed. It's a, how does this feel? Ooh, how does that feel? It's more of an observation than a critique. And through working your center and your curiosity to concentrate, you're going to have a great barometer over your control, being able not to only access more of it, but also recognize where it's not as important to have so much control. You ever had a dance teacher tell you, let go, I want to see you dance? Well, it's because no matter what, if you're a trained dancer, last roll up, you're going to have a sense of control of your body. If you've taken ballet, that is control built into your system, depending on how strict your teacher was, probably pretty aggressively. So you have to learn how to trust it and have the release in your control. Rest your arms down by your side. You're gonna bend your knees and reach your legs up to the ceiling for the roll over. Speaking of control, let's access a little bit more of it. Hug your legs together and take your hands to the tops of your thighs. You're gonna rotate your thighs in to feel that squeeze into your center line. I'm not saying to internally rotate and pull your heels apart and have your knees face each other. That would be working more from the bone versus than the muscle. I want you to keep your legs parallel, but just wrap your muscles in. So you feel this natural squeeze happen all the way between your center seam. That's what we're holding on to. As dancers, we have such an awareness over our inner thighs in such extreme positions, but not so much in this parallel. If anything, I also find a widening through my lower back here. So it's not as such an intense hold up through my hips to keep my legs up. It's really being in my hips, and my abdominals are allowed to do a bit more. Arms down by your side. Squeeze those legs together. In one motion, take your legs over your head and reach your toes towards the wall behind you. Now, don't let the legs hit the floor. We want our toes to stay at least in line with your hips. Open your feet as wide as your shoulders and flex your toes. Reach through your heels and with control, roll down your spine all the way till your hips hit the floor. Feeling that rotation, hugging your legs together, even though they're apart, reach to 45 degrees, point your toes. Now use that squeeze to hug the legs together, back up and over, reach it over, flex your feet and open. With control, roll through the shoulder blades, through your rib cage, through your hips, all the way down. One more time, point the toes, hug the legs together from that rotation, wide lower back as your abdominals lift you up. Open and flex. With control, roll it down. Very good. Now we're going to do a variation of this. One more time, bring your legs together, lifting your hips up and over. Open your legs, flex the feet. Now, once you get to your hips, I want you to grab behind your knees, bend your knees, and rock up to sit forward, transitioning into rolling like a ball. Rock yourself back and rock yourself up. Keep your legs tightly bent in toward your hips. Inhale, rock back. Exhale, come up. But can you still feel that internal rotation to hug that center line? Remember, hold your center. Use your center as a tool so that you can be curious about the rest of your body to find more control. One more time, rocking back. Now add roll over into it. Rolling back to your shoulders, push your hands down, reach your feet behind you. Now close your legs and point your toes. Roll yourself down. Once your hips hit, bend your knees, roll yourself up. Pause at the top. Flex your feet and reset, opening those knees. With control, rolling back, push your arms down, reach it back, point the toes and squeeze the legs. Rolling down, bend your knees and roll it up. You have one more of these. Control, roll it back, pushing back, point the toes and close through your shoulder blades first, your ribs, your lower spine, and your back. Bend your knees into your chest, just rolling yourself side to side. You're now going to take your left hand on top of your right knee and take your right hand underneath. Moving into the series of 5, I want to work in the coordination of your upper body through single leg stretch. I remember this by having my opposite hand grab higher on my knee so that it stays close over my chest. If I switched my hands and my right hand was on my right knee, I'd be able to open it out to the side really easy and disconnecting from my center, which is the first principle that we've worked on so far. So we don't want to lose that as we graduate to the next level. Use this graduation to help reinforce all the other things that we've learned. Curl your head and chest forward and extend your left leg out long. Now find that rotation to that center line. Pull your abdominals up and away from your big toe. Change your legs, change your hands, and switch, and switch, and switch, and 3, and 3, and 4, and 4. Check and be curious. How's your shoulders feeling? Where are you feeling this the most? Ideally, it's your abdominals. So try to focus your attention, even if you have to look with your eyes, to see if you can see any movement pulling down and up to help switch the legs. Using your control to coordinate your arms, Last 2 and 1. Both knees in, rest your head down, arms to your side. Extend your toes out 45 degrees. Take your hands to your thighs. Find that manipulation to widen your lower back. Pull your abdominals up more, arms back to the place. Bend your knees just to tabletop. Press back out. Inhale and exhale back to tabletop. Inhale. Now, can you find your glutes while using this internal squeeze? Use your glutes to push back to tabletop. Last one with pointed toes and push with your glutes back to tabletop. Now flex your feet and feel like you could bend to kick your tush. So you activate the backs of your legs more. Zip your belly button up your spine as your heels go forward. Use the backs of your legs to bend your knees back in. Inhale, keep wrapping those legs, especially the very beginning of your legs, what's closest to your abdominals, into that center line so that you feel the inside of your legs holding together, holding that center, giving you now time for curiosity and concentration over the rest of your body. One more time, reaching out and pull it back in. Take both legs up to the ceiling, point your toes and scissor, drop one leg, scissor, and 2 and 2. Can the glute be the brake at the bottom to help kind of slingshot your leg off the floor? Or if like you were compressing a spring with your leg as it was going down, how would that resistance want to push your leg back up? Last 3 and 3, holding that internal rotation to find that squeeze to the center line. Last 1 and 1, both legs up to the ceiling. Keep your toes pointed, but stack your hands behind your head. Curling your head and chest forward. Look at your abdominals. Feel those thighs wrap in, wide lower back as you drop your toes, and then picking the legs back up. Use your control to find where it's coming from most, and then help support by trying to engage somewhere else, using that concentration to turn off things that don't need to be turned on and turning on things that are going to be helpful. And up one more time, reaching it out and pulling it up. Bend your knees, rest your head down. Also graduating into our second level of crisscross. Keep your hands behind your head. Just plant your feet down on the floor. Knees hip distance apart. Curl your head and chest forward and twist to look to the right. And come back center. And twist, flip to the left. And come back center. Inhale right and center. Inhale left and center. 3 more sets. Inhale, exhale. Hugging those legs to that center line to pull your abdominals up and away. Finding more space to create this spiral. Last set. Twist and center. One more time. Twist and center. Rest yourself down. Knees are out. Go ahead and lengthen your legs out long. Fingertips to the ceiling. Roll yourself all the way up. Curling up. And open your legs as wide as your shoulders, or if you're on a mat, as wide as your mat for spine stretch forward. Taking your hands back behind your head. Now push your head into your hands so you feel your abdominals have to kick in to kind of keep you balanced. We're going to need that in a second. Drop your head, roll forward, one bone at a time. Trying to tap the top of your head right between your legs. Take a deep breath in and roll yourself up. Lengthening taller, use those abdominals. Keep that little bit of pressure in your hands from your head. Using your legs like you were on your back, hug your legs into the center. Feel your lower back widen to pull your abdominals in more and roll down. Now this is very similar to that rollover exercise that we did. So how can you make it feel the same and have the same control through your spine? Or maybe even more, use gravity to your advantage here. One more time, deep breath in and exhale, roll it forward. Using those abdominals to let your head and shoulders continue to round forward and further forward. Pulling your abdominals up and away from the very tops of your thighs, hugging your legs in towards that center line. Roll yourself back up. all the way up to the top. Wonderful. Now flex your feet for the next one, neck pull. Brand new exercise. Get ready. It's its debut. So you're going to curl forward just like you did, rounding over your thighs to begin. Rolling yourself back up to that very straight spine. Now remember that kickback into your hands. You're now going to use it to actually tip your spine back nice and flat. Go back as far as your spine will let you, and then you're going to roll yourself all the way down using your control. Curl yourself all the way back forward over your thighs, and you're ready to reset. Roll yourself up to that straight spine. Now use all the tools that we've activated so far. Wrap those legs in parallel. Feel that squeeze so your abdominals are what's tipping you back. Push your head gently into your hands. Try to lengthen over the tops of your forearms until you can't go back any further. Roll through the spine, one bone at a time. Don't lose your legs. 2 more times, curling forward. Now check on that concentration. Is it helpful? Is it curious? How can you use it to help you? Encourage yourself to get through these very, very difficult tasks. Remember, it's the difference between struggling and challenge. Roll yourself up, deep breath in, and then hinging back in a flat spine. Keep lengthening over your forearms, hug the legs in and roll yourself down. Oh, and last time, roll yourself up, curling over your thighs. Use your legs to help get more lift in that lower back, widening it as you hug your center line. Lengthen yourself up tall. Now do yourself a favor and pull up on the back of your head. So you guide your head where you want it to go. Now challenge it to pass that pull. Keep lengthening, keep lengthening, keep lengthening. Roll it down. Oh, wonderful. Roll yourself over onto your stomach. You're going to make your way up to your all fours for leg pull down. We are here for our finale. Hands right underneath your shoulders. Rotate your triceps to face your thighs. You're going to take one foot back, right in line with your hip, opposite foot in line with that hip. So you're a big rectangle. Now push forward over your toes, lengthening your collarbones over the fingers and pull back over your heels. Inhale as you lengthen forward, lift up to a high releve. And now drop your heels, try to get a calf stretch. Inhale as you lift, think about this as like a releve, hands on the bar, but flips. So imagine how much control you can build here through like ankle work. If anyone's had an ankle injury, this would be wonderful to carefully, of course, when you're ready, to help give more support to other ankle or to the rest of your leg. So it's not those little dainty bones, dainty joints. You know, your ankle's only so big and the rest of your body's a lot bigger. And pull back, lift your hips up, downward dog. Tailbone high to the ceiling. Feel your inner thighs now wrap back to the wall behind you. That may make you feel like you have to arch your back slightly to get that to happen. Truthfully, I'm okay with that right now. We're cooling down. We've earned the stretch. However, be mindful of it when you're trying to use your control in downward dog to use it for something else. Bend your knees and walk your hands back toward your feet. Let your head hang and stack your hands. Interlace your fingers on the back of your neck. Let your elbows hang forward. And just feel how your spine is lengthening. Think about the position we were in that neck pull. Now, pushing your feet into the floor, feel the thighs wrap in towards that center line. Feel it all the way through the arches of your feet as your belly button pulls in to roll your spine up. Standing tall through your legs, stacking your shoulders over your hips. Lift your head up and drop your arms down by your side. Continue to grow tall. And booyah, friends. Oh, I finished out of frame there. But that was wonderful. I hope you feel a little bit more in control of activating your energy and also being able to turn it off. Have that sliding scale of volume. It's not always appropriate to be at level 10 on things, you know? This past year really taught me that. So use it in a multitude of ways. That's what's so lovely about dancers practicing Pilates, is that it really these are lessons that will be useful not only inside your body, inside the studio, especially as more studios and auditions and our lives are coming back. But also then, in the transition of that, and that's really important for us to really take care of ourselves as we venture on into what the future of performing arts is coming out of this pandemic. So I appreciate every single one of you for being here. So lovely to have you practice. Please let me know if you have any questions about anything. And until then, I have a mat class tomorrow where we will be expanding upon these ideas, working through our center, being curious about our concentration to work